In this video, we're going to look at how you can make sure that a Zillow sale has been claimed, and also how to make sure that a property has been closed out properly in either MLS, whichever state it's for. So one thing that I will say is I usually start with making sure that MLS was closed out properly. A lot of times if MLS is closed out properly, the Zillow sale will just automatically claim itself, and that can save you some work. So we will go over that first. You can see I'm already logged into Naren here. It's a pretty simple process. You only have this task on buyers, and that's because we're the ones who close out the seller listings, so we know that those were done correctly. But let's actually see what's a buyer that we have coming, or that we've closed recently. Sold. Actually, I'll look on my little tracker. So Tatnick Road in Wells. So we'll start with main MLS. So most commonly what we see if we have an issue with this is, because we're a team, a lot of times people will close out the listing with whichever agent they worked with most frequently, but we do try to have everything closed out under the same MLS ID just for tracking purposes. So you can see on this, I just pulled it up, 572 Tatnick Road in Wells. What you're going to do when you're checking this is, it's not going to be our listing, so you don't need to check the listing member section. But here under selling member, in main MLS, we want that to say Mark Zoller. So you can see right here that it does, so we don't need to take any further action on this particular transaction. That's really all you do in main, is you just look up the property and you verify who's listed as the selling member. If you have, and this is going to be the same process for Maine or New Hampshire, if you have an agent who does not close the listing out the way that we've asked them to, the way we handle that is you're going to send an email to that agent, and you can CC Rachel on it, CC the transaction manager on it. So that's the contracts at tzghomes.com. And essentially you're just asking if they would mind updating the MLS for us. We do have a template for that. It is in Brivity, so I can show you that after as well. In New Hampshire, you're, again, basically going to do the same thing. Let's see what a recent New Hampshire sale was. We have this, we were the list agent. We have this one in that's also Maine. Apparently we haven't had a buyer in New Hampshire in a while. Here we go. So we have this one in New Hampshire, 20 Colonial Village in Somersworth. So we'll go over to Paragon. Again, we do the search for 20 Colonial. We're going to have to be a little more specific on this one. So 20 Colonial in Somersworth. We can click on it right here. And in New Hampshire, this information is over here on the lower left-hand corner. So we can see the list office information name. It wasn't our listing, so that's not what we're looking at. We want to go down to the selling office and selling agent information. So the selling agent here in New Hampshire, they actually allow you to have team MLS IDs. So that's what we use. We try and have everything closed out under the Zoller group. So you can see right here, the selling agent is the Zoller group. So there's no further action we need to take on this one either. Again, if for some reason you saw that was maybe closed out under one of the individual team members, you're just going to get the agent's email address, which is usually right on the listing sheet that you're already looking at. So right here, you can see Sally Stewart, or over here in Maine, actually, if you click on the agent, it gives you their contact information in Maine. So you can just send them a quick email and say, thank you so much. It was great doing business with you. I noticed that you closed this out in MLS under Robin or under Ezra. We try and track everything under the same MLS ID for our team. Would you mind updating it to the Zoller group or Mark Zoller, depending on which MLS you're talking about. So that's how you verify MLS, and you're just making sure that it was closed out properly. You do sometimes have agents who kind of ignore those emails or maybe push back a little bit. Definitely feel free to loop the transaction manager in at that point if needed. Most of the time they just go in and update it, and they don't make a big deal about it. The second part of this that I'm putting this together, because like I said, one kind of influences the other, is claiming a Zillow sale. So to do that, you're going to go to Zillow.com and you're going to get logged in. Mine's pretty much always logged in. because I'm always using Mark's account. But what you can do, I think I just clicked on something. So I clicked on Agent Hub. It brings up this screen. And then over here where the profile picture is, you click on that and you hit Past Sales. And this is where you're going to see, so you can see like automatically Tatnick Road goes in there because it was linked to our MLS ID in MLS. It automatically gets linked to our Zillow profile. Sometimes for whatever reason this doesn't happen. So if you go here and you look and you can't find it, these are in chronological order. So typically, whatever you're working on is going to be towards the top. But if you look and you can't find it, then you do have the option to add a sale. So you click on this button right here, add a sale, and you put in a property address. For the most part, again, it's a little tough because I don't have one to use as an example, but for the most part, we have one coming up. Let's see what happens if I type this in. So this is kind of what happens when you do this. So you type in the address. It's going to bring up this sales history for it, and you would choose, did we represent the buyer or the seller, show on profile, and hit add sale. This is an older one, so this would be to like claim something that it's already seeing. If it doesn't actually see it in its history, maybe because it just happened, you scroll down here and you say, don't see your transaction details, enter the info here, and you put in the date of the sale, the amount that it sold for, did we represent the buyer or the seller, and then you can click add sale. That's all you do for adding a sale to our Zillow profile. And again, a lot of times it'll happen automatically if MLS was closed out properly. So, a day or two after MLS is closed out properly, we just check on Zillow and make sure that it's on there. If you have any questions, let me know.